What's going on, guys? So this video is going to be on the shorter end. It's probably going to be a couple minutes long because I mainly just want to talk about some quality of life stuff that I think you guys should look into. So as you can see with my stats, I got all of my non-combat stats to the levels I said you should get them to. My dungeoneering is 34 because that's just where my dungeoneering ended. I did all my dungeoneering to get my 2,000 tokens for the gem bag, and then it put me at 34. I imagine you guys are going to be around the same level. Same thing for rune crafting, or actually, I guess my rune crafting is fine. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing, is mainly skilling. I am also training my combat very slowly, and I am doing quests. I don't have that many quests done, but that's actually the main thing I want to talk about today, is getting your quests done and making sure that you're not super struggling with them. So the biggest thing is many quests have a lot of required items. So Chef's Assistant, for instance, has a log, steel bar, pot of cream. Something that can help you is that you can actually just buy all of these, which is really nice. You don't really have to gather all these yourself if you're not an Iron Man. So if you're planning on doing all of these quests, which again, I recommend you guys do, but if you guys are planning on doing all these quests, then just go to the Grand Exchange, or next time you're at the Grand Exchange, just buy all these items. It makes actually doing these quests not a hassle at all. It makes them super, super simple when you can just carry all the items with you in your inventory and just do the quest. Something else is that if you're struggling with any of these quests for any particular reason, a lot of the newer quests are pretty simple and straightforward. You can just look at the in-game quest book and just do that, and it'll tell you where you need to go. But sometimes they're a little bit more archaic, especially for the older quests. So for those quests, what you can do is if you're stuck on any quest in particular, you can click on the wiki for free-to-play quests. That's going to be very important for Broken Home. But you can click on the wiki button, and it will open up a page for the wiki. So let me bring that up. So it brings this page up, and then it brings up the quick guide by default. The quick guide is nice because it just gives you very basic, like, hey, do this, talk to these people, bring these things, you're all set. It even tells you what chat options to pick. So if you don't want to be bothered to read through all of it, you can do all of that. Generally, I would say you want to pay attention to any quest that's part of a quest line. So if you go to your game, you can filter by series. Any quest that's in a series, you want to pay attention to all of those quests. Besides that, any like one-off quest, you're actually fine to just kind of skip through all of the text. It's not like ultra important, but that is something to keep in mind, is that for the regular quests or the non-story quests, you can just skip everything. And for the quests that are part of a series, probably pay attention to them. Now, if this quick guide is not being specific enough for you, or if it feels like it's skipping over something important, you can hit the in-depth guide, and then this explains a little bit about the story and what's going on, and then gives you a lot more words to work with if it just feels like you're not getting it, or it feels like the quick guide's being a little bit vague. I have had to use this for quests with puzzles. This isn't worthless, even if it is a lot more words. It is harder to know exactly where you're at, especially in the longer quests, because there isn't a checkbox like there is with the quick guide. Like when I do a long quest, I will check off each of these steps as I do them. But yeah, I just wanted to give a quick little quality of life stuff for something that you can use. The other thing about the wiki is that you can use it to look up any item. So let's say you don't want to just purchase this, but you want to find out where can I naturally get a pot of flour, right? So you can click this wiki button, and then you see the chat box says click wiki, and we can type in pot of flour. Okay, I can't spell. Pot of flour, and then it'll bring this up and it'll tell you what it builds into. It'll tell you what stores sell it, and it'll tell you where you can get the raw ingredients. So if you don't know where you can find wheat, you can click on wheat. It brings that up. The wiki is very, very important because RuneScape is a huge game. The more you learn, the more questions you're going to have, just because of how expansive the game is. So knowing how to access the wiki and what to look for is very, very important. So I figured this would be a quick, episode 2.5 or whatever, that's just going over how you can go about using the wiki and what it's good for. Right now on the account, I am training my combat stats and I'm doing these quests. I want to try to get all of these done within a couple of days to a week. So hopefully by Monday of next week, which is when Group Iron Man starts, I can have all the free to play stuff out. And by Monday, the goal is to try to get a video of like, hey, I did all the stuff. I'm a member now. When that video comes out, I want to show the in-game time so you know about how long it's going to take. I did spend a couple of hours just recording stuff and talking and not doing anything, but I also played a little bit faster, so I imagine it's going to take you guys about the same time or a little bit longer. This is important to me because I can just buy a bond on my main account and put it on here once all my stats are done and once my quest is where they're supposed to be, but I want it to be accurate to how long you guys are going to take so you guys know about how long of a grind you're setting yourself up for. You know, obviously, once you have the upfront money to buy, you know, as much Dragonhide as you want, it's only going to take 10 hours of actually playing. That's still a really long time. For full transparency, that's why these videos are going to come out a little bit slowly, at least at first. Once we get the bond, the first video is going to be very long. It's going to talk about all of the dailies, weeklies, and monthlies you want to start doing, all of the short-term goals you want to start engaging with, and then all of the midterm goals you want to be looking at, you know, after you start all of these activities. There's a lot of maintenance in RuneScape 3, but doing all of it as early as possible is really going to set yourself up for success. Additionally, I'll be talking about a few key members items that you want to get pretty much as soon as you become a member. Once you get a bond, you basically want to farm enough money to get a second bond so that, you know, you're not worrying about it running out. And then you want to buy those items ASAP. Luckily, once you become a member, actually making money becomes significantly easier. You can make, you know, 20 mil an hour day one of being a member, which is very nice. It makes it easy to sustain bonds. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on one, how you can actually go about doing these quests if you feel like you're struggling a little bit, and two, when you can expect the next video. So yeah, I think that's it. I will see you guys hopefully on Monday.